I'm Stephanie, and I served in the first Gulf War, which is Desert Storm 1990-91 in Saudi Arabia. Now, MOS was the 88 Mike truck driver, which is a transportation specialist, and you can drive every vehicle in the military. But my unit was just a blacktop unit where we drove 14-ton tractor trailers and hauled Patriots, ammos, and missiles. We were in threat of Scud missiles all the time. So we had threats of chemical warfare and, sirens going off. And, everywhere we went, we had to carry our weapon and whatnot. So the stress and anxiety level, I became hyper aroused. We had like 500 people and about 30 women. So it was the dynamics was different. So what I experienced was kind of like a mistreatment or lack of respect and honor for women. I felt kind of ostracized and not really respected and really embraced as a soldier. It was difficult. I was expecting support and respect, and there was a lot of sexual harassment, catcalling, unethical things that the, military code of conduct basically says it should not be happening. I really didn't know at the time that I was experiencing sexual assault, what they call military sexual trauma. It wasn't a term then. Definitely at the time of service, you just get through, you made it home, you made it alive, I'm done. So when I got back from Desert Storm in 91, I actually detached from that unit and got assigned to another unit where I just totally wanted to act like it didn't matter. It didn't happen. I used to have nightmares and sleep disturbances. So when I first got home, I just was different. I was estranged from my family. I was very serious-minded. I found myself not able to really be understood when I did express myself with family and friends of some of the things I went through because they were not there. So I didn't find myself supported in the system, so I would say I kind of hid. I was depressed. I was a divorced single mother, struggling, raising my son, doing all the work myself, not having a support system. So I used to be home at night crying all the time, and then I would come put this face on and work and perform. The job, I had high stress level, child welfare, social work. I mean, you see the worst of the worst. And I just couldn't even find a common ground. So my doctor took me off on stress leave. I ended up with long-term disability, ended up being unemployed and never went back to work. And that's when I entered the Ann Arbor VA Homeless Veteran Program, and it changed my life, actually. We were able to get a HUD-VASH voucher. Really, that's what it was, and moved us out to Grand Lake, Michigan. Actually, it was the best thing ever that happened to us. And I had a worker. She was like my champion. Well, she was the first worker that believed me. When I spoke, she helped me. It wasn't a game of proving. I felt safe. And I think that's what was the turnaround, was one person that was able to advocate for me when I couldn't advocate for myself. I did a lot of, writing, therapy, venting on paper. One thing about writing, instead of saying it, you could put it on paper, you could decide to publish it or not. And I was able to release in a safe place. I felt as if it was my duty to heal myself. I said, if you're brave enough to serve, you're brave enough to heal. So I said, if I'm brave enough to go to Saudi Arabia and fight for my country, I'm brave enough to heal myself with these tools. And it was necessary. For my son, I wanted my son to experience a healthier mother and a better life. Being diagnosed with PTSD officially in 2010 made it clear, what it was. And then he just said, Mom, I knew something was different about you. And our relationship is stronger because I heal myself. And I believe once you heal yourself, you're able to empower the ones you love around you.